This is my third presentation. I had two previous presentations speaking on the subject of developing e-learning modules through the activities of the Center of Excellence for Water projects. The first one was about the rules put to us for us by the review team and the development team, and the second presentation was about the details of developing of one of my courses, and this particular presentation is about the review process itself. I will start with an introduction, define the review team, and talk about the details of the review process in terms of the emails that goes back and forth between the developer and the review team, and then talk about non-technical comments, technical comments, and how in some cases the reviewer helps the developer, and in some other cases there is no comments. Then I will end up with some concluding remarks. The presentation gives some details about the review process. In addition to the team from AUC for instruction design, graphic design, and language editor, a professor or two is viewing the technical material, and this professor could be Egyptian or American professors. The review process, like the development process, in my opinion, is long and time consuming, especially the back and forth emails and comments within Google documents. The review team is composed by 6 hard-working people. They have a project coordinator, a project consultant, instructional designer, and graphic designer. But the important 2 persons in the team who was dealing with us all the time is Nesma and Aya. They were orchestrating the musical notes we are all playing. And these are some of the great activities they were doing. They were arranging and conducting the weekly meetings. They make sure that the course development matrix is followed. They fill the complex project management sheet, and they discuss details with explorers in terms of lecture material, text, photos and tables, and activities for assessment like quizzes and discussion forums. They also communicate with external technical reviewers, and together with the developer they orchestrate the complex steps and facilitate the communication with the people involved. This is how we have 5 implementation steps, starting by the subject matter expert creating and write content. Then content is submitted, reviewed, SME gives feedback, and then a final step, which is a collective meeting to finalize the product. Here is the online quality review form. There is a checklist of things that has to be included in the course, and I explained this graph before. It is important. There is the details of the review process. I summarized it under certain titles. First was too many email reminders. This is an email reminder sent to us by Ms. Nesma. She said the following items are pending for module number 2. Please update as soon as possible so I can proceed with the graphic design. And this is a series of emails sent to us by Aya about very little details. And here I will talk about the comments by reviewers. There are 2 kinds of reviewers: non-technical reviewers and technical reviewers. This is the non-technical comments. Because the non-technical reviewers are not specialized, sometimes they ask a question like, I'm afraid, I don't understand this activity and its relevance to the previous content. I mean, what are we assessing here? In this situation, I have to explain to Nesma in simple terms what I mean by the activity, so that she can proceed with her review. Then another comment is the copyright. I call it the nightmare because of the strict rules of the American way of dealing with copyright issues. And here it says it's not copyrighted, but we need to use it as an infographic. Here is also another copyright issue where they asked us to, where did we get the photograph from? We got it from e-report, but they said, and we told them that we communicated with the report, the person who wrote the report, but they said, no, we need, it is, and the response of NESMA, is it written? It has to be via email or written document, please. Therefore, I sent the project manager, Dr. Muhammad Ahmed, a friend of mine, asking him to give us a formal consent, and he responded to us saying, this is to let you know that I don't mind that you use the project photo. Here is another instruction design reviewer asking about is it a video or a picture, and they ask us to find a similar photo. Here is another comment. I'm not sure we have discussed this as a content type. This is an important comment made by Samah, because the way they present things, they have certain templates. But if the subject matter expert wants his stuff to be displayed differently, I think we have to talk together to see how we can use existing templates to execute the idea of the developer. It takes some time, and I have an example about my matrix question that it took some time between me and instruction developer to put my new question type into the format they are using. Here is language reviewers. He picks up some very slight things like capitalization. He wanted to change then by so. But the most language annoying comment is that by using the APA referencing style for all our references. And this is, I told them this is very time consuming for the developer, and I suggested that to do this job, the team of the language reviewer should do the APA referencing style for the developers. Some technical comments, I classified them are under 7 categories: readability of slides, too much text, too few slides, spelling mistakes, design of quizzes, use of units, and in some cases there is no comments at all. Readability of slides, I said text is difficult to read, and the response from Dr. Reem that she will improve the text and made it readable. Here I said the y-axis numbers are not readable, and they will use another one. Here I had comments on the readability of the infographic, and my other comments was too much text. I said too verbose, can you re-articulate to use less text? They responded to my comments, and also we had comment from the DI saying that there is some problem with copyright. I said here too many slides, can you make them about 15? And also the infographic is not readable. Sometimes there are too few slides. I told the developer that there is very short presentation, and she said, Dr. Reem from Alexandria University, I have increased the presentation with 12 new slides. Very good response. I found some spelling mistakes. Even when I find some spelling mistakes, my comment itself had a small typo, and this is of course human expected error. Design of quizzes. Here I had to look at the technical issues of the matching question, because I prefer that the matching question choices should be more than the question text items. Why? To make it a bit difficult for the student to guess the solution by elimination. Here is the same comment about the design of matching questions. And here I suggested that the developer add some examples. And Dr. Reem, she said, I mentioned 4 examples. Here, because I found that the text is a bit confusing because there is a lot of overlapping definitions, and I drew the attention of the developer to change the wording, and I gave him example why I'm saying that, and he responded, of course, and changed the text. Here is an example of my suggested new assessment method called a matrix question. And in this matrix question, the student writes one or clicks the proper cell that shows the per capita value in cubic meter per person for different parts of the world, like the Arab region, the Sudan, South Africa, and so on. Use of units is important. Sometimes I find also only numbers in the table, and I ask for units. They responded, of course, and write the correct units. And sometimes I suggest the units, or I said what are the proper units, and in my comment here I said the units are billion cubic meter per year and percent. Here is the units should be billion cubic meter per year, and then the developer asked the DI to fix that. To help the developer, I provided them with this slide that shows how to correctly write unit symbols according to SI standards. Sometimes the reviewer helps the developer, and I will give some examples. Here, I asked the developer to use non-conventional instead of membrane because they were talking about non-conventional water, but most of the presentation was about desalination. Here, I suggested adding some photos and a map showing the location of the case study because this is important. It's an e-learning course. More details has to be provided for students. Here, I had a simple and not very simple comment by asking the developer to change the alignment of the text in the first column, and suggested to convert the numbers in the table into a possible graph, and Dr. Reem welcomed my suggestion. This was her table, and this is the table after fixing the alignment and converting the numbers in tables into an Excel graph using a stock chart and a logarithmic y-axis. The reason for using the logarithmic scale is because the values in the tables are different orders of magnitude different. Here is an air quality modeling course I was reviewing, and my comment here has to do with the alignment, the decimal alignment, because numbers has to be decimal aligned. The developer didn't know how to do that, and she aligned them manually, and in this slide I showed her that she can use the decimal alignment tab in Word to do it instead of doing it manually. Here the table should be updated. Why? Because the data in the table refers to 2017, and we developed the course in 2024, but I think the developer didn't have the updated numbers. Therefore, I provided the developer with this table updated for the years 2022-2023. And in some cases, the reviewer has no comments. Here, for example, Professor Ryan commented on my modules 2 and 3, and Nisma said he had no comments on the content at all, just punctuation and collocations editing, and she herself resolved his comments. And myself, I made comments for some developers, and I said I don't have comments. My concluding remarks, most of the comments are made by the active instructional designer, which the nature of such comments are non-technical. Therefore, most of their comments, they didn't change the technical content, only cosmetic elements. The technical contents can be changed by the technical expert reviewers, as you have seen in my previous slides. And my last statement saying that the review process is very long, spending more time and effort than it should. And this is again my personal opinion.